Hello, family. We are live, and I wanted to give a presentation in all seriousness. And this should be interesting. Is a look into the mind of Dr. Umar Johnson and how he started off initially in the movement as a troublemaker in the UNIA, eventually having to resign for allegations of trying to raise funds, do fundraisers, missing money, causing mischief, disrespecting the elders and the President General of the UNIA around the year when he joined the UNIA in 2001. 2001 approximately is the year when Dr. Umar Johnson began his start in what we call the conscious community. 2001. He was given the title of Minister of Education for the UNIA. The President General gave now Dr. Umar Johnson the gig as Minister of Education for the UNIA. This was in 2001 approximately. 2001 approximately, Dr. Umar Johnson, or now Dr. Umar Johnson, obtained his bachelor's degree. Around 2001, more than likely in psychology. 2001, he obtains his bachelor's. 2001, he begins his gig in his start in the conscious community as Minister of Education for the UNIA. He came in the movement wrong, disrespectful, and scamming in the UNIA after getting this gig. Follow me. Here I have Dr. Umar Johnson's resignation from being Minister of Education at the UNIA. This is why I continue to tell people, and we continue to warn you, that this man has mental health issues and out of his mind. And I will prove my case. This will take about 1 hour. So if you don't have an hour, just go ahead and click off and get back on it when you got time. I know it's early in the morning and I'm up late. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm up late. Okay? So we will read word for word so there will be no mistakes. No one will take anything out of context. And we will get an understanding of this man we call Dr. Umar Johnson, what he's been doing for the last 20 years. And you guys will be clear without any shadow of a doubt of who we're dealing with here. Okay? Bear with me. And if you're late, I won't be reading comments because I'm trying to focus and get through this. This is a lot of information. Here we go. Here is his resignation from the UNIA. We're going to read through this slowly so I can kind of dictate and let you know what's happening and what's going on. He starts off his resignation letter that he has to give to the President General of the UNIA, the boss. I hope this email finds you all. He's speaking to everyone, giving his resignation. I hope this email finds you all in the best of health and enjoying the final weeks of summer season. As for me, I am still daydreaming, always dreaming is what he's doing. About the blessed tour that I just returned from 11 days ago. So he starts off the resignation letter bragging about how he went to Africa around 18 years ago. I hope to have my pictures for all to see at the upcoming convention. He want to bring his pictures from Africa so he can brag to some of the members of the UNIA. He just just short talk, and here's why he's ready to get down. I hope to have my pictures for all to see at the upcoming convention. There will be over 1,400, and I am actively trying to find a couple of photo albums large enough to accommodate the pictures. I now see why everyone's going digital. He smiles. Okay, now I will get back to the purpose of this email, of this resignation letter. Nearly 1 year ago, I was asked, mind you the title. The title says, Minister of Education resigns. Because he says it's a secret campaign against him and plotting of the parent body members. So the leadership of the UNIA is plotting against him, along with the plotting of the parent body members. We hear this all the time today. 18 years later, they're plotting against him. So for damn near 20 years, Dr. Umar Johnson has been saying everyone is plotting against him, and his campaigns and haters trying to bring him down. This is what he was saying when he first started in the conscious community 18 years ago. Let me continue reading. I just wanted to make a note of that. Okay. The purpose of this email. Nearly 1 year ago, I was asked by the Honorable President General Redman Battle to assume the post of Minister of Education. I didn't ask for the position, but gladly accepted it as an opportunity to help contribute to the upliftment of our race on a more direct and universal scale. So he always talking this upliftment of the race and these preaching words, these sound good words to make you feel good. So people in their mind say, oh, he's about the upliftment of the race on the universal scale. This is the language he uses psychologically on you. Okay? However, he continues, since my appointment, he's being sarcastic as he's resigning. This is his letter. He's being sarcastic to the entire squadron number 121 that he's from. However, since my appointment, I have had to face some shocking realities, chief among which was the fact that my position was supposed to be primarily ceremonial and symbolic, with me doing only what was asked when extremely necessary. As a supreme workhorse, being limited by other people's perception of what the ministry should and should not do. Let me stop. Rewind. He has a ceremonial position, he's trying to say. Then he goes on to say, as a supreme workhorse, he's saying to them in his being sarcastic resignation letter, he is a supreme workhorse. Where have we heard this language? I'm the King Kong of consciousness. I'm the baddest man alive. This is what he's been doing for 20 years. Being limited by other people's perception of what the ministry should and should not do, with no constitutional provisions until recently, which were very limiting. What he's saying is he's not getting no money to do the things that he needs to do. These are his words. Being limited by the other people's perception of what the ministry should be and should not be, with no constitutional provisions until recently, because when I continue, you'll see he'll eventually get some money that he's been begging the elders for to do stuff and build programs and refurbish the building. He's always wanted to refurbish buildings and start programs. This is what he was doing 18 years ago at the NIA when they let him in. As a supreme workhorse, being limited by the other people's perception of the ministry should and should not do with no constitutional provisions until recently, which were very limiting, he's being sarcastic, I forged ahead and decided, since my constant requests for a financial budget went unheeded, even though approved by the Executive Council meeting. In his resignation, he is complaining that his request for a financial budget is basically not getting listened to. This is what he's complaining about in his resignation letter. So he says, he's moving on. I forged ahead and decided, since my constant requests for financial budget went unheeded, even though approved by Executive Council meeting, I decided to spend my own funds for the benefit of the ministry, the race, and the UNIA. So for the benefit of the ministry, the race, and the UNIA, he spent his own money out his pocket. Well, Dr. Umar Johnson, what did you spend your own money on? Did you buy a dozen donuts for a meeting or something? What did you need to spend your money on? Because you don't mention here. You're just complaining that they're not giving you money. So you spend your own money, but don't say what you spend your money on. Maybe you spent them on donuts. Who knows? He goes on to say in Dr. Umar's resignation letter, mind you, he goes on to say, after he brags, although I have been a member of the Great Association for 8 years, mind you, I said 2001. He's resigning 8 years later. This is going to come together for your mind real soon. Because 2009, after his resignation from the UNIA, he meets Sonetter of Sonetter TV. Sonetter gives him his first interview after he resigned from the UNIA for possible theft, mismanagement of money, disrespect to the elders, disrespect to the present body, disrespect to the President General. Yes, we're going to see all this. We're going to see who the real Umar Johnson really is. Although I have been a member of the Great Association for 8 years, keep in mind, y'all might want to take notes here. I'm not playing, but I'm trying to be serious for y'all to make a point. This is not a game, y'all. This is our brand. This is our conscious community. This is the RBG movement. The RBG movement, let me continue, because I'll get on the road. Although I have been, member of the Great Association for 8 years, I have never been reimbursed or subsidized. He's always arguing about money and having beef. I mean, this is a common thing with him for 20 years. This is damn near 20 years ago. He's a young buck walking up in the UNIA, given a position by the boss man, the President General of the USA, and he got demands. He's up in there trying to take over the movement and bully these people, as we're going to see. Although I haven't been, I haven't been reimbursed or subsidized for a single cent that I have spent on behalf of the UNIA, locally, nationally, or internationally. It will be stated that I have never asked for funds or sought to raise them. Listen again, please listen. These are his words. He just said, it will be stated that I have never asked for funds or sought to raise them. If he's saying I've never asked for funds and I've never sought to raise funds, that means someone is accusing him of raising funds and asking for funds. if he has to deny that he's been asking for funds and trying to raise funds, that means the people in the organization are accusing you, Dr. Umar, of trying to raise funds and solicit money. This is why you're resigning from the UNIA. You got caught up 18 years ago. This is totally untrue, he's saying. He's defending himself as he's resigning in his letter. Still, you know how you're going down, but you want to talk shit as you go out the door. You mad you busted, so now you got to be all sarcastic and flip mouth. The nigga is sassy. He said, this is totally untrue. He's defending himself from accusations. Just a few, and now he's complaining like a babe. Just a few months ago, the membership of the division number 21 approved a budget. He's haggling over money and trying to wiggle, but you're resigning. Now, check this out. This is common sense. If you're in the right, and it's not an argument over money, then somebody else should be resigning. Someone else should be resigning. Why are you resigning? Because you're caught up. That's why you're resigning, Dr. Umar. Excuse me. That's why you resigned 18 years ago. These are the same thing, because this is what he's doing in 1999. This was in 2001. I said 1999. You know, did I say 1999? In 2019, he's doing what he did in 2001. Let me continue to read his resignation letter. His words, not Chief X. He said, this is totally untrue. Just a few months ago, the membership of division number 121 approved a budget as part of the Building Redemption Initiative that I had developed in attempt. He's always attempting to do shit to restore the second and third floors. Now you're admitting you're asking for money. I mean, it's like, you know you're guilty, but you're trying to wiggle, but now you're admitting that you're asking money to restore the second and third floors of the Thomas W. Harvey Hall. You know, he always got to say the complete words. He can't just say, I was going to restore the building at 121. You know how he does the Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, and he say about 20 fucking names. Yeah, he got to say, attempt to restore the second and third floors of the Thomas W. Harvey Hall. Yeah, that gets on my nerves when just say FDMG. God damn. Okay. Despite this budget, which he's arguing about, despite this budget being approved, I was grudgingly giving a check that was returned to me by my bank. This is strange right here. This is strange. Let's just rewind. Despite this budget being approved, so he did get, I think he got a crest, something approved, a little something approved. Some kind of money got approved to him, okay? So he's been sarcastic following in this resignation letter he wrote. Prove, I was grudgingly given a check. Like, you know, somebody give you something and you snatch it from them. Like, okay, give me this little penny ass check. Like, this is what he's trying to say. After something was being approved, I was grudgingly given a check. But you got to think about the big picture is, you're a new booty. You just was given a position. You up in here arguing and fighting with these people about what they've been doing for years in the UNIA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is like crazy. I've had this resignation letter. I've told people, but people just think, you know, like people just think, let me just continue, because I go off on a tangent. Despite this budget being approved, I was grudgingly given a check that is returned to me by my bank. Now, that was strange to me. It says returned to me by my bank. I'm thinking if I'm getting some funds and I'm working for the UNIA, that they have a UNIA account or something? No, you know what I mean? Like if they gave him some, why would he be something? Some NSFS fees be returned to him by his bank? He said. That's just strange to me. This is why I know something was funny. And then it says it was marked non-sufficient funds, which means, I'm reading the letter right now. Let me just be clear again. Despite the budget being approved, I was grudgingly given a check that was returned to me by my bank and marked non-sufficient funds, which means insufficient funds. I was told by the customer service center that there was not enough funds in the divisional account, or someone named on the account chose to cancel the check. Who named on it? I mean, what are you hiding? The check was for $328. $328 funky dollars. There's a dispute over, Umar. And you want to run a school of boys, but you can't even handle being minister of UNIA, your first gig you got when you got your bachelor's degree. Let's let's test somebody. Like my son, I gave a test to my son the other day. I shot some money to his account. I said, let me see how he's gonna handle it. Didn't touch a penny of it. Then I said, well, keep this much of it. I'm coming to pick this much up. I put him to a test. My son passed with fine flying colors. Didn't touch a penny. All he asked me was, Daddy, can I buy a book for school? This college class, I need to buy this book. I said, yeah, buy the book. Buy the books you need. And he passed his test. This is Dr. Umar Johnson's first test, first job. Because Umar Johnson don't work a job. This is his first job with the UNIA in 2001 after getting your bachelor's degree, and you flub it up. You flub it up. The check was for $320. How could we not have that much money in our divisional coffers is beyond me. Why are you confused? If you handling some kind of money account and you cash in a check, you're not sure if some money's here you talking about? How you cash in a check, you get non-sufficient funds? I know not to cash something. I know if it's funds somewhere, if it's not. Right? I mean, yeah, Umar will pay people for a fool and then do some preaching, and you'll be like, oh, he said something deep. Okay. I had decided to write a letter to the membership of the Division 121 expressing my concerns regarding the treatment and dishonesty that I have been receiving ever since I was elected third vice president several years ago. So I guess after he got his membership, you become a membership of the UNIA, and I guess eventually you get a little position. So it sounds to me like it's saying he's been getting hate ever since he was elected third vice president several years ago. Incidentally, this sabotage increased when I was recently elected first vice president. I guess he went up a little bit, receiving each and every vote from the membership save two, the nominee and the nominator. Anyhow, before presenting my letter to the body, I went to the President General to conference with him about my intentions. So he went to the President General, he says, to conference with him about my intentions. Basically, in layman's term, he said, I went to the President General to rap with him. Okay? He said, this took place several months before the elections. He's worried about elections and moving up and trying to take over. He told me I could not reveal the letter at this business meeting because I did not have his blessings. Yes, the Postmaster General, your boss, who got you a job as the Minister of Education, told you not to do something because what this say? Because he did not give you his blessings, Umar Johnson. The Postmaster General, your boss, who gave you the position of Minister of Education of the UNIJ, you was a little young college, just up out of college, buck, couldn't follow his instructions. He didn't give you his blessings, is what he said. You should have just obeyed him. Then he goes on to say, this is all his resignation letter. He's crying and, going back from the beginning, what happened, and crying and wondering why and acting like everybody's hating on him. But let me continue to read his words of his resignation letter. I told him I did not like the fact that he doesn't support my work and that he assassinates my character before other members of the division. See, everyone's always assassinating the character. People got problems with him, his co-workers, the staff, about the money. Everybody in the UNIA, when he stepped up in there, had a huge problem with him. His nasty attitude, his bossy ways, has been slick. He trying to get the president general fired. This is what he's doing up in there. He come up in there, a man give him a job, he's gonna try to get the man who gave him a job fired and take over as a president general of the UNIA, like he is a big fat bully. So he slick talks to the president general in his resignation letter. Watch. The membership that evening, I might have missed something, let me say. He threatened me of my ministry. Okay, someone threatened him of the ministry to expel me from the UNIA if I showed the letter. Okay, so he was given some instructions not to show the letter, but he was being defiant. Now he's trying to snitch and tell people and cry about why they didn't want him to show some letter. I'm not sure what the letter is, people. I told him I had a constitutional right to do so. So basically, when you hear somebody say that, when your authorities, the people you work for, or your bosses or things like that, I'm not saying this is a paid job, but this is just a position at the UNIA. They told him not to do something. He's basically talked back. That's why he got to go. He said, look, I told him I had a constitutional right to do so. That's back talk. That's insubordination. I told him I had the constitutional right to do so. You can't trust a motherfucker like that. Working with you, with your kids, with them, or nothing. He get technical on you. But he insisted on his position. Ultimately, I was allowed to show my letter, probably because I would have risked expulsion and done so anyway. The membership that evening were in support of my charges. He got charges. He's always got charges against him. 20 years ago, Umar had charges against him in the UNIA for flim-flam. With many, including elders, he's saying he had charges with many, including the elders. Everybody's not wrong, people. The student body, this is what he's telling you. The membership that evening were in support. They were supporting everything people were bringing against him. The membership supported every accusation against him. This is what he said. The membership that evening were in support of my charges, with many, including elders, also stating that they feel that the lack of support for me by the president. Oh, I might have read something wrong. Excuse me, because I'm just now reading this paragraph. Okay, the members of that evening were in support of my charges, with many, including the elders. Oh, he's trying to get some help from some other coworkers, I think. Also stating that they could feel that the lack of support for me by the President General and his sidekick. Okay, there we go. President General and his sidekick, Johnny Stifle Progress Gossett. So he talked shit about the President General right here in a little shot in his resignation letter. He said President General and his sidekick. That's like saying it's like the President General and his flunky. President General and his sidekick, Johnny Stifle Progress Gossett. And he gave his sidekick a little nickname. Johnny Stifle Progress, Johnny Stifle All Progress Gossett. Okay, so he's mad at the President General and old Johnny Boy here. I only share this one incident, because you always have incidents, because there are many stories that I can share, because I want you to know that I am speaking from my heart and soul with the whole truth, all of the truth, and nothing but the truth. Why do you gotta say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? He's just trying to, clear his own conscience of his guilt. And, you know, in this resignation letter, you know, he just knows he's guilty and trying to lie all the time. Like, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. This is what he's doing in his resignation letter. Okay, let's continue. I respect the President again, General. Again, for those listening, I got a video by a brother named Black Dot. After this video, he gives a powerful analysis and psychoanalysis of Dr. Umar Johnson's mental health state. You must stay tuned and watch that. Black Dot up out of New York does a wonderful job, and I'm going to play a powerful clip from that video. And you really need to pay attention. You will get a clear understanding after Black Dot get the psychological breakdown. But let's continue. Here he goes. It says, I respect the President General, and despite what the others say, whenever he has needed me personally or professionally, he's trying to act like he just done everything now. But he did disrespect the President General. I respect the President General, and despite what others say, whenever he has needed me personally or professionally, I have been there. When he had no way to get food for his store, I would remove all my psychological and audio equipment from my truck, take early leaves to work to take him around town and get him what he needed. At convention, I stayed an extra day just so he could ride home in comfort and security. He's trying to brag about what he did for the organization and the general, and, you know, as he's walking out the door resigning. Here we go. When Johnny is not at the hall, I make sure he gets home. And despite all of these new faces suddenly being preoccupied with his security, I have been part of his security for the last 8 years. Wonder why you wanted to be part of his security so tight, and you worried about others preoccupied about his security. Sometimes you gotta really listen and have good listening and reading comprehension. Here he's talking about Johnny, who he called what above? The sidekick of the Postmaster Journal. He said, when Johnny is not at the hall, I make sure he gets home. Now he says, and despite all these new faces suddenly being preoccupied with his security, I have been part of his security for the last 8 years. I was the major sponsor of a painting of the President General that was created as a gift for him for his birthday. He's just trying to brag to the people because he knows everybody's going to be reading this resignation letter. I'm just trying to give you guys some context, but follow along with me if you got some time. I'm really not even halfway through. It's going to get really, really, really good. Really, really, really good. He continues on in his resignation letter. I want to be clear. 99% of the division, number 21, supports me in my work. I doubt that. That's in his head. He wants everybody to believe that. If 99% of the division supported you, you wouldn't be resigning. You get what I'm saying? So you got to just read between the lines with Dr. Umar. He said, I want to be clear, 99% of the division, number 22, 18 years ago, supports me in my work. However, the 2 or 3 individuals who stifle my efforts at every turn are the ones who yield the power. He's saying the power people there always stifle his efforts every turn and everywhere he goes, what he's saying. Everybody's always against him trying to move ahead. One part he says, I'm going to get to a little later, they won't let him fly his wings and be him. I mean, it gets deep. You have to listen. Okay. In addition to the division number 121, Umar Must Go campaign. So basically, damn near 20 years ago, the UNIA, which he was given a job to, had an Umar Must Go campaign. This is what he said. He considers what the UNIA body was doing was a Umar Must Go campaign. Similar to the same thing we're hearing and seeing now, 20 years later. See, I tell people, let me just say this before, I want to read this and get through here. People are going to be people. If an asshole was an asshole 10 years ago, in another 10 years, more than likely he's still going to be an asshole. People don't change much. They develop their personalities around 6 years old. That's when their base personality begins around 6 years old. And it changes slightly depending on their experiences through life. You get what I'm saying? So some people are just assholes and they're going to be assholes. Like with somebody who's being called a demon the other day. There was a demon 10 years ago. They're going to be a demon today. And they're going to be a demon 10 years ago. Sometimes people just are people. They don't change. So what we're looking here at, this behavior of Umar Johnson's first job after he obtained his bachelor's degree, basically, is a look at who Umar Johnson is and how he behaves and how he operates with people. When you run in doing something like that, you Minister of Education with the UNIA, you have to be a people person working with parents and students in education and trying to teach. You cannot be that if you're not a people person. A person to pull off that kind of job has to be a special kind of person. Everyone is not fit to be king. Did you watch Black Panther? Everyone is not fit to be king and don't need to be, even if they try. Because guess what? They will embarrass the community and themselves. Now, a person can try what they want. I just want to give you this timeline and story of Dr. Umar's work history. We didn't interview him. So I'm giving you his interview. Since he didn't let us interview him. He didn't let us ask questions to figure out what he's doing while he's gathering all these dollars and still today ain't nobody painted a wall. Now, I ain't gonna say that, I don't know. But this is a look into the Umar who was yesterday what he is today. People, it don't change much. A fuckboy is a fuckboy yesterday and today. Let's continue reading this letter. Y'all got me on a tangent. Let's just get his words. I want to be clear, 99% of the division number 121 supports me in my work. However, the 2 or 3 individuals who stifle my efforts at every turn are the ones who yield the power. In addition to division number 121, Umar Must Go campaign, which they had against him, I have also had to contend with certain personalities on the parent body. You got problems with everybody, Umar. The head people, the president general, the president body. You're telling us you're having problems with everybody. I mean, damn, Umar. I've also had to contend with certain personalities on the parent body whose search and destroy efforts couldn't quite, I guess what he nicknamed that, search and destroy. Well, what were they searching for on you? And why were they trying to destroy you, Umar? See, this is nothing new. Let me just read this thing before I go again. The parent body whose search and destroy efforts couldn't quite be applied in my case due to the level of support and popularity I enjoy. He was 18 years ago worried about how popular he was and bragging to the people as he's resigning, I'm popular, that's why they hate me. I'm the baddest, I'm the strongest workhorse. This is his own words, he said. The level of support and popularity I enjoy. So instead, a well-organized system of espionage and secretive character assassination was initiated. He's telling us a well-organized system of espionage and secretive character assassination was initiated on him. Poor Umar. Cry me a river. They're fucking with me. It's everybody with me. This is why I don't have enough money. You know? A campaign so thorough, he's saying. Everybody was trying to get him out of the UNIA. A campaign so thorough that even when I arrived in Senegal for the last leg of my tour, they had a Division 21 spy waiting for him. He went on a trip to Africa, he was saying early in the letter. If you were here, some of you guys may have just tuned in. So he said as soon as he got back from Africa, they had a spy. He's probably being sarcastic, but he's saying they were waiting for his ass when he got back from Africa, basically ready for him to get the hell out of their business and their organization, is what he's saying. They had a spy waiting for me, following me everywhere I went and taking note on everything I did for the first 2 days, my Senegalese tour. This spy incidentally was influenced to become a Garveyite through me and joined through me, but later became jealous at the amount of success and support I began to receive through the city of Philadelphia. So he's bragging about all the support he was receiving as he was trying to do his job. But he's more than likely exaggerating like he always do. More than likely the people who's listening to him and hearing him and stuff, the support he's talking about is people are probably just complimenting how well he speaks. It sounds good to him and they just think he's really doing the work and doing all that. So this is what the support in his head, this is what he's saying. That everyone's jealous of him because he's getting all this support. He was crying this 20 years ago, family. This is nothing new with him. The info's here. I don't have to make this up. Okay, so he's received throughout the city of Philadelphia. He helped destroy my building redemption initiative. Worked tirelessly to keep me from being elected as elected first vice president. Listen to what he just said. He's mad at somebody and said about them, they helped destroy my building redemption initiative. Remember, his building redemption initiative was raising funds and getting money that they were accusing him of doing, that he was lying and said he did not do and said that wasn't true. So if you in this video late, you'll see that later. So he's mad at the guy as he's resigning because the guy is saying he destroyed my building redemption initiative. When someone says building fund, building redemption initiative, that means raise money. That's code word where I'm trying to get some money. So he's saying in a nutshell, let me give you in street terms, nutshell what he's saying. This nigga fucking with my money. That's what he's saying in street terms. He helped destroy my building redemption initiative, worked tirelessly to keep me from being elected first vice president. Because he was what, third vice president? He's moving on up. Later on, we'll get into see that he tried to take over the organization. That's why they wanted him out 18 years ago. You see it right here, but here we go, let's read. They have engaged in character assassination ever since. Has agreed to serve as divisional spy for a certain person who seems to feel threatened by my rise. Everyone's threatened by his rise again. Right now we're threatened. They were threatened then. Was nobody threatened? You're not a people person. Person who feel threatened by my rise, influenced and work with every step that I make. Sometimes who smiles in my face and badmouths me behind my back. Someone who acts like he is my friend, but wishes all the while I would disappear from the face of the UNIA so he can sleep better at night knowing that the Umar problem has been solved. He's saying another member would sleep better at night. He's been sarcastic and rhetorical. Let me read it again. Someone who acts like he is my friend, but wishes all the while I would disappear from the face of the UNIA so he can sleep better at night knowing that the, in quotations, Umar problem has been solved. Someone who sends his friends to do the dirty work instead of doing it himself. Just as many beefs within the organization because he's been screwing up. Let me say that my work has in no way been directed at trying to become the next President General. Why would you say that, Umar? Are people thinking you're trying to become the next President General of the UNIA? You're saying this, listen, let me say that my work has in no way been directed at trying to become the next President General. Pause, you guys. He's saying that because obviously someone is thinking he's trying to be the next President General. You dig? That's why he's saying that, because someone thinking he's trying to be the next President General with his little shiesty self. Let me say that my work has in no way been directed at trying to become the next President General. That he clowns. Negroes are the most title-struck race planet on, he said, Negroes are the most title-struck race. Let me read again. Negroes are the most title-struck race on the planet. That's ironic. He loves being title-struck today. That's why he was in court. He won every title. Psychologist, I'm the baddest this, King Kong of that, Prince of Pan-Africanism. He got 1 million titles, but 18 years ago, guess what he said? Negroes are fancy and shit in his letter of resignation. Negroes are the most title-struck race on the planet. How fucking ironic, Umar, that you say that in your resignation letter. Yeah, you did want to be President General. That was a good title. He was trying to take over. Let's go, people. Let me continue. He says right here, it continues, I don't care about titles. I would rather do the work. I don't care about titles. I would rather do the work, Dr. Umar says in his resignation letter. Furthermore, I don't know who gave certain people the right to assume ownership of the UNIA. Listen to what he said. Furthermore, I don't know who gave certain people, he's probably talking about the general and the leader, people the right to assume ownership, he put in quotations, of the UNIA. He is under, let me make this wider so maybe if he was can people see better? Yeah, I got little phones. Let me find my place again. It's coming to an end, this part right here. It's coming to an end, 1 second. Oh, okay, so he denied. Let me say that my work is in no way directed at trying to be the President General. Negroes are the most title-struck race on the planet. I don't care about titles. I'd rather do the work. Furthermore, I don't know who gave certain people the right to assume ownership of the UNIA. He's causing trouble. I thought this organization belonged to all of us. Like he's trying to rally the people up to an uprising. I thought this organization belonged to all of us. Who is the general to say? That's what he's saying right here, people. He's a troublemaker. He always has been. Chief X gonna give it to you real. I got you. We're gonna have teaching moments. Teaching moments is okay. Don't be scared. I got you. Let's go. He said, I thought this organization belonged to all of us, not just 4 or 5 people who feel they have been around long enough that they can now assume the role of dictator. He put it in parentheses. He don't like the fact that there's a president general of the UNIA. He wants to be the dictator. That's why that word kind of, can you guys see? Let me see if I can make it bigger. I made it a little bigger. Okay, here we go. I don't know who gave certain people the right to assume ownership of the UNIA. I thought this organization belonged to all of us, not just 4 or 5 people who feel they have been around long enough that they can now assume the role of dictator. He loves dictator word. He wants to be a dictator. That's what he's trying to be, but it's all in his head. He has mental health issues, as we'll get to by the video from the brother Black Dot. And you'll clearly see. Let me calm down, he's talking to himself in this resignation letter. Let me calm down and bring this email to a close. I knew that going to Africa was going to be a bit more than any of my enemies could stand to bear. So I guess he's saying that he has enemies, and after his little vacation trip, they hating on him for it. I wonder where he got the money to go on the vacation trip right out of college, first getting a gig in the UNIA as a minister of education with a bachelor's degree. And mind you, as he was in there, I say he probably had a bachelor's in psychology because he ended up getting his master's in psychology and his PhD in the field of psychology. So more than likely his bachelor's was in psychology. So in this language, he calls himself a psychologist. That's what he went to court for. But they didn't see this, but I mean, this could have been evidence, but they didn't see this. Because in this later on, he calls himself a psychologist. So we now know that to be considered a psychologist, you have to have a license, which is after completing your PhD requirements, you can be a doctor, a PhD. To get your license, you have to do maybe a year and a half of thousands of hours under a licensed psychologist, a real psychologist. You have to do that extra hour, and then you can get your license to practice. But when Umar Johnson graduated, got his PhD, he never continued to get his license. He just fucking, just basically said, fuck it, I'm just gonna talk shit now. I got my PhD. That's credentials enough to run game. I don't need my license. So what he did was apply for school districts to get his certified school psychologist, which is not a title. That is the school district title for that job. So he was registered at a job that the job had the title school psychiatrist. And at that time, only you needed was a bachelor or master's to be considered a school psychologist. But if you're not working at a school, employed working in a school, you can't say I'm a psychologist unless you're licensed. While if working in a school setting, he can say I'm a certified school psychologist. That's why he says it. But he never actually really worked at a school. That's why I got $50 to tell me the name of the school that he did work at, and give me the name of one employee. They haven't got that $50 yet. So that's why I said, once he graduated college, he began to hustle with the UNIA. He never did get a job. He never worked with kids. He just went to hustling. I got little credentials. Got my bachelor's, I'm a hustle. Okay, I got my master's, I'm a hustle. I got my PhD, I'm a hustle. He didn't hold a real job. He didn't work with kids ever. He didn't work for the school district. He registered with them in case he wanted to work. That was the school title. So when you look him up, it says Umar Johnson, he's certified as a school psychologist with the Board of Philadelphia School District. He's certified as a school psychologist, because that's a school psychologist title, not his. I hope you guys can understand the language. Okay, let me continue reading. He says, let me calm down at the end of his resignation and bring this email to a close. I knew that, okay, the Africa trip is going to be a bit more for my enemies could stand to bear. I prophesied, he's prophesizing, that upon my return, I would either be forced out or have to resign from my post. When you're forced out, you have to resign, that basically means you're fired. He can't even keep a job as a young buck bachelor got kid. Okay, he said, I'll either be forced out or have to resign from my post. I have chosen to do the latter. He chose to resign, and I'm reading his resignation letter. Because my power as a Garveyite has far surpassed the work and expectations of any of these race haters, he's been funny, flip mouth. Because my power as a Garveyite has far surpassed the work and expectations of any of these race haters, the time has now come for one man to be sacrificed to bring about the peace of the entire movement. This is all in his mental psychology, that he thinks he is all that in everything to the world and everything to everybody. He is it. Nobody is shit. He is the man. This is what he just said in this letter. Because my power as a Garveyite has far surpassed the work and expectations of any of these race haters, the time has now come for one man to be sacrificed to bring about the peace of an entire movement. For the sake of the great association, I'm willing to offer it up on the altar of organizational martyrdom. Basically, he's saying, I'm resigning and I'm becoming forever on the altar and will be a martyr. Do you guys understand do you understand the psychology of somebody that would make that kind of a statement in the resignation letter? I need you to think with me for a second, family. I need you to think with me for a second. In his resignation, this is what he said. For the sake of the great association, I'm willing to offer it up on the altar of organizational martyrdom. Offering up, I'll make it a sacrifice for the good of the movement, is basically what he said. I sensed that the end was near for me when I refused to endorse any clique over any other when the DC, NYC, Jamaica strife took place. I guess there was some kind of beef took place and he was in it. And he's saying that he sensed it was the end for him. The end was near for him. And he refused to endorse some clique. You know how places and organizations have different cliques of people and they may have feud. This is what he's saying. Let me try to help y'all. This is what he's saying. I sensed that the end was near for me when I refused to endorse any clique over any other when the DC, NYC, Jamaica strife took place. He was in some drama up there. Although all parties He probably meant although. Although all parties were equally right and equally wrong, and refused to side with any, because none of you were man or woman enough to admit your wrongdoings. For taking such a stance, I was left standing alone, which didn't bother me, but paved way for the decision that I'm making today. This is how he ends his resignation letter, y'all. I need you to pay attention. Did Umar pay attention? This is how he ends his resignation letter, damn near 20 years ago, when he had to resign. He got fired, got pushed out for scamming and bullshitting him 20 years ago. It says, this is what he's saying at the end of his resignation letter. Did Umar have plans to become President General? It's a question. He said, I would be lying. Any young leader he's called himself young because I'm telling you he was a young buck. This was a while back. I would be lying. Any young leader in the UNIA would be lying if he were to say he wouldn't like to one day fulfill the post held by the right, excellent, honorable Marcus Garvey. He wanted to hold a position with that movement name, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, to seem like a big shot, when he's really a foul shot. He's foul. He's been foul. The whole organization, the whole number 2121 in UNIA 121 wanted him gone, y'all. They wanted him gone for mischief, disrespecting elders, scamming the money, trying to do building funds, non-sufficient fund checks, questions and shit on his bank. Was it a company bank? Was he putting money in his bank? I mean, they wanted him out of there, y'all. Okay, he goes on to ask, yeah, I would have wanted to, he's basically saying, a position as a right, excellent, honorable Marcus Garvey. Then he asked a question again. Did Umar think he would be the next president general? Of course not. He said, there are men, one in particular, he's double talking here. There are men, one in particular, other than those who think they should be next, whom I feel I could do a remarkable job in that position, if given the chance. He said he could be a bomb person to hold that job if given the chance. Does Umar think he is made of the stuff that makes president generals? He's asking himself this in his resignation letter. Does Umar think he is made of the stuff that makes president generals? I am well aware, as are my enemies, of the talents that God, SWT, I think that's Muslim for Sada wa ta'ala or something, I'm not sure, don't quote me. I'm well aware, as are my enemies, of the talents that God and the ancestors blessed me with. And I'm sure that I could have done the job in remarkable fashion. He's bragging that the ancestors blessed him of his talents and that the enemies hate him for it, basically what he's saying. He said, he goes on to say, does Umar think he is more capable of the post than those that have been working to bring about his demise? He answers, you damn right, each and every one. Umar Johnson admits at the end of his resignation letter that he said, you're damn right, each and every one, that he thinks that he's better than everybody, that he was fit to be president general. It didn't happen. His coup, his theft, his mischief didn't work out. He had to resign. As soon as he resigned, after getting it jumped off in 2001, messing around with the UNIA for 8-9 years, 2008 hits, okay? 2009, he received his bachelor's degree. Let me just show you that so you can understand. Oh, here you go right here. This is really small. I don't know if you guys are screenshot, but I'll read it. And I'll just tell you what it says. Basically, in 2009, he got his bachelor's degree. He got his doctorate degree in 2012. So what I'm saying, y'all, what I'm saying, family, is, one second. One second. What I'm saying, family, is I read you his resignation letter. What I'm saying is when Umar graduated college and got his bachelor's degree, this was his first introduction into what we call the conscious community in 2001. He began working with the UNIA in 2001 after obtaining his bachelor's degree. Caused mischief, trouble, and problems, scamming and bullshit. So I'm guessing, since I don't see a date on this resignation. Oh, let me just go to the end so people can see. Let me just blow this up. I want to just do the complete letter so you can see. I don't want everybody to miss nothing. You know what? I didn't finish reading it. I forgot, but I don't want to waste your time. But anyway, he ends it with, your brother, Umar Abdullah Johnson, the modern day Malcolm X, and left his number. That's how he ends his resignation. Your brother, the modern day Malcolm X. Then he does a little speechy little thing at the bottom. I don't feel like continue to read. Then he does some Jay-Z quotes and just really sarcastic. And this comes from, I guess it was, I don't know if it was a paper, it's public record or whatever. UNIA News and Views, Volume 1. This resignation letter comes from. I'm not sure if that's a UNIA letter they have on their files or an old newspaper. But here he goes, 20 years ago. Oh, what goes basically, as soon as he resigned from the UNIA, when he became popular, we know when he met Sarnetta and came on the Sarnetta TV. That was about a year, or the same year, he resigned as Minister of Education from the UNIA. Then he met Sarnetta, and it began. So you can see the timeline. He's still not working a job with a school. He's not working with kids. He's hustling. He gets his education and becomes a hustler. He never gets a job. He's never had a job. He's never kept a job. Everything he went into, he failed at. He couldn't complete this test. So when he met Sarnetta, that's when people began to know who Dr. Umar Johnson is from his first Sarnetta TV interview in 2009. And from that date in 2009, there's a post, and it's about exactly 10 years ago, which is 2019. He meets Sarnetta, goes in Sarnetta around 2008, 2009. That's 10 years ago. That was the first time there was a post where Dr. Umar Johnson first mentioned starting the FMVG school 10 years ago. This letter also continues. I have to read this real quick. You have to get to understand this. I'll just tell you, but it's in here. But you can, I'll try to put this letter in the link. But he says he's resigning from his position, but he's going to remain a member and keep his membership. Because you can do that. You can resign from your position, but keep your membership in the NOIA. So he said he's still going to continue his programs, and he's going to start this and continue this. And I wish I could show you, but I don't feel like reading number one. I want to move on to the mental health video. He says he's going to continue all these programs and complete this foundation that he had or something like that. And as you see today, that never happened. Whatever he was going to finish and remain in membership and do in this letter, you guys can read it yourself if you got time. He never even did that. Everything he tried to start or said he was going to start even after his resignation. He never did that. So even at the end, you can kind of see, oh, this is real important. This is real important. The last line before he signs off. He says, effective immediately, Umar Abdullah Johnson hereby resigns as both UNIA ACL Minister of Education and First Vice President of the Thomas W. Harvey Memorial Division, number 21, but will remain a dues-paying member until the Umar Must Go campaign exacts its final and ultimate goal. It sounds like he's saying he's resigning, but he's going to remain a dues-paying member until the Umar Must Go campaign, which is the people against him, exacts its final and ultimate goal. It sounds like he's trying to say, I'm going to resign, but I'm going to remain a member until it exacts its final decision, whether I can even remain a member. So it seems to me that after he resigned from the UNIA, they even stopped letting him be a member. It seems that way. I don't know that for sure, but it seems that's what he's saying. Because it says, but I will remain a dues-paying member until the Umar Johnson Must Go campaign exacts a final and ultimate goal. It just sounds like he's saying until they make a decision whether I can continue being here as a member even. That's what it sounds like to me. Your brother, Umar Johnson, then it's all bullshit. Now, I wanted to play this video by Black Dot. Very powerful. And he reminded me of me because no one breaks down. This is the best breakdown of the mental health and psychology of Dr. Umar Johnson and why it's clear that we have to know this man has mental health problems and possibly dangerous. Okay? This I've showed is behavior he did 18 years ago. But let's just listen to Black Dot. And I want you guys to really listen to it. This is really powerful, Black Dot. Black Dot from New York, he talks about hip hop a lot, He's a deep brother, A lot of people like him. But he's very mentally sharp. So he's gonna make you feel what he's saying. So let's go and listen to Black Dot.
The 5% is the school. I don't agree with it. I don't, because it doesn't make sense. I'm going to get to the latest shit. All right? And then I'm going to give you what I think is going on, and people just going to have to deal with it. All right? It's physically impossible and financially impossible in the next 6 months for you to hire construction workers, engineers, electricians, carpenters, people who do security work, graphics designers, embroiderers, website people, nurses, people who make food, all of this shit, and you need $1 million? Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. Wait. That is physically fucking impossible. But his followers, because they love him so much, they're riding. They poked their chests out a couple of weeks ago. See, we told you he's got the school. Yeah, but it came. Did you see the stipulations that it came?
Right, they ignored that.
They ignored that. Because cognitive dissonance.
It's not only white people.
It's not only white people. Yeah. Right? And when you hear him speak and you hear his passion and all of that, you're there. Right?
Right.
This is my prognosis. Right? I do not think he's scamming the people. I think the nigga is crazy. No, I think the psychologist needs a psychiatrist. Because this shit only exists in his head movies. Right?
Yeah.
This shit is fantastic. And I never see nobody around him. I don't see 150-page dossier breakdown of the game plan where other people can, cross-check.
It's not like when he talks about what the school's gonna have, it's not he just freestyling. Like,
but that's my point.
Yeah.
In his mind, see, I don't want y'all to think I'm being funny here. I'm dead ass serious. Mental health. See, we got a thing to think mental health means you stupid. Hell no. There are brilliant people with mental issues. His ego has elevated him beyond reality that he lives in. This nigga is not crazy. He crazy. Quiet as kept. And let me tell you what did it for me. I was listening to his live, and he said, brothers and sisters. You know, he said shit 3 times. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. After this school is built, I will become the most dangerous man in the world. And I'm going to need guards of Garvey, an elite tactical team, to follow me. When the nigga said that shit, I said, wait a minute. Hold on. And he said it with such a straight face that it clicked to me. He believes that shit. In this nigga's head movies, and I love Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar, I'm pretty sure you can get my number from anybody in the conscious community. Because this is not a personal attack on you. This is my psychoanalysis of what I see. That shit exists only in your head movies, and because there's nobody around you giving you checks and balances and keeping you grounded in reality, you actually think. This is what I mean. He's not trying to scam the people. This ain't about hustling little money. He, in his mind, believes that shit. Those of us who have common sense or who are grounded in reality know that is physically fucking impossible. I got a nephew named Preston Martin, this month, nephew. He's a Lego guru. He couldn't build that shit with Legos in 6 fucking months. If I said, look, Preston, give me 4 buildings, give me a gym, put some cameras around it, give me nurses, doctor. Uncle Wayne, you know I go to school, right? He couldn't do that shit with fucking Legos, right? So his mind, and see, that's the mind is so powerful. If it's not checked, it's brilliant. It will take. And another thing, every time somebody asks him a question, his answers are, "We're gonna teach them agriculture. We taking them to Africa. They're gonna be Orishas. They're gonna be initiates. We're gonna teach them how to hunt. We're gonna teach. We creating a space program." His shit is so straight face that he's not conning you. Con don't work that way. He literally, he's in his own world. He said he's the King Kong of consciousness. When you say stuff like that, or that you are, so you need to tell me you don't have a tactical team in place already? You don't have the guards of Garvey. You are the most dangerous man in 6 months. And you're gonna take applications and shit. You're gonna be like, all right, nigga, no karate. Okay, he can be on the tactical. How the fuck is that even possible? The very people you hire are gonna be the people that turn around and bust you in your fucking head. Are you kidding me? And then the Nation of Islam even called in and say, your brother, when you touch down, if you need help, we got you. No, you can help me here, but I'm gonna need my own security team. You ain't got that in place. That's some shit you create in your mind. When I come around, you see Falcon? That ain't nothing. Falcon, with 150 people, right? That ain't nothing. The president got, security 10 blocks out. No, I'm the most dangerous man in America. That triggered something for me, and it made me realize he actually believes that. I don't even think he has a website, right? I would even respect him more, right? If he said, brothers and sisters, August 19th of 2020.
I heard he did throw that date out there.
Okay, on 2021. And then on the website it was countdown. What about all the kids who's supposed to be accepted already? By this point, if you're talking August 2019, these kids should already have their acceptance letters. Welcome, congratulations, you made it into the Marcus Garvey School, or whatever. Parents, this is what you bring, and the kids could be photo ops online. Yeah, I got in. No, you mean you're gonna do all of this shit? Get the $1 million you need, which is no money.
I don't know.
Right? That's no money for what you're talking. And just whisk the kids into the building. It's not humanly possible. Right? If he stressed it out and had niggas like on the website, photo ops drilling, he's coming around his hard hat, tapping niggas on the shoulder, or the famous blueprint shot He's sitting around with the hard pointing. You know what I'm saying? Blueprint shots. Because this is what has to happen in the real world. Construction workers got to come through, carrying lumber, cement got to be dumped, electricians got to pull. It's got to be up to code on all of this.
It has to be an accredited place so kids can legally.
Absolutely. So, no, you have none of that? You have none of that.
One thing that his followers would say is, well, he wants to be an independent school. My response is, if you want to be an independent school that has no state interference, you're taking tuition.
Right. So you mean these poor kids who don't have a father, who suffer from ADHD and all of this, who's going to pay that? Who paying the tuition?
Right.
That $1 million? Are you kidding? You can't even keep the building running for $1 million.
Not even for a year.
You know what I'm saying? With electricians, this, that, security, it's impossible. Right? So we know that this is not humanly possible. Right? But in his mind, his fucking head movies, it does. And he really is standing on that. And that leads me to say that perhaps he has some mental issues.
Because I was also thinking to myself, like, because a lot of people are throwing the scammer word around. I'm like, you can't be that brazen.
That's my point. That is a brazen scam. And he don't, again, this is for the people who love Umar, and I'm one of them. He never came across to me as a scammer, to me. He never came across to me as somebody who was just trying to get a few dollars and this, ever. He came across to me as a leading scholar, the leading voice on what's going on with black teens in America and this and that in schools.
I disagree with that, but that's his narrative. So I just wanted to let you hear Black Dot break it down. I just disagree with him on that part. Because Black Dot didn't know what I know, where I've been showing his history or his timeline previously. Black Dot didn't know that. So sometimes people speak from a place of ignorance. That's not a disrespect. So, but Black Dot brilliantly breaks down Dr. Umar's psychology. But I just had disagreed with that part. I just wanted to pause and let you know.
System and this and that. And somebody who I can rely on for that information, and I still would. It's just that when we start talking about this school and what this school is going to represent, and he had the audacity to say, if you do not have a natural, you can't work there, right? I'll come and cut your hair off myself. That is called discrimination 101. That means they're going to send somebody to the school with all the credentials to teach and all the qualifications with a blonde, or perm, and you deny them on the claim of that, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna sue you dumbass. Immediately. The Fed's gonna send somebody up there for that shit. Right? Or this
black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
We still on. Stay with me about 2 more minutes and we're done. 2 more minutes and we're done. Hold on.
Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. I woke up, then I logged in to that brother X where they be flexing with that long hair. Black skin can't win in the white world. See the brother killing so care for that white girl.
Just a commercial break.
Send a white person up there and sue you on racial discrimination. It is the easiest fucking lawsuit to prove. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all starting to fucking give me a headache. Y'all starting to bother me. Even the most staunchest Umar fans, y'all got to start laying this shit out. Put that shit on a piece of paper. All that shit I said he need, and put 6 months out. And tell me that is humanly possible.
It was even not even 6 months out. A long time out. Like,
that shit is a long time now. He would have been better off long stroking y'all. Giving y'all a 5. That's why I said it's not a scam. If he had originally laid out a 5-year plan, damn, I got 5 years to hustle the people. You know what I'm saying? And I could be milking money for 5 years, doing, around the country. That's why I don't think it's a scam. I think in his mind, he thinks that this is fucking possible. And for you to think that, that means you are living mentally in the fifth dimension where things happen instantaneously. We still in the third dimension. And the third dimension, it takes time for people to lay cement, drill shit, wires, walk around the building, get it up to code, interview people, this shit in real time. So you living mentally in another reality, right? And I know mental illness when I fucking see it. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I love Kanye West, but he has mental illness issues, right? Dr. Umar, you heard it here first. Y'all can shut me down because I know how to troll nation get. Keep in mind, I said.
That's pretty deep. If you've been following from the beginning. Now, that's pretty much the end. Let me see how to get the hell out of here. And you guys can digest that yourself. I want to end and say, let me just give you the update from a realtor's perspective. Umar he makes these claims. He was on a talk radio show last night, so I paid attention. So he made the claims that he acquired the school, which he did. Okay. So what we do know so far, I'm just giving an update. There was no purchase or sale. There was a name added to the deed. We believe for business purposes to take care of. And it said that GoFundMe had sent him information looking for his name on some kind of school or information so he can get money released from GoFundMe to be able to do something. So we know there was no purchase and there was no sale. We know that for a fact. So I'm just giving an update. But there was a name added to a deed for business purposes. The school previously, Moyer Academy, that was there, was ran by K-12 management who owns the school. They ran Moyer Academy's educational curriculum. So Moyer Academy didn't own the school either, but their name was on a lot of paperwork because they were conducting business on that school building property. Are you following me? So when you go look at K-12 properties whose name has been on the deed and was on the deed when Moyer Academy was there, you look up K-12 Management Inc. and just look up K-12 Management Inc. reviews. They are horrible. They don't have not one good review. When you see the reviews, it says things like, they're not transparent. We don't trust them. These are reviews from K-12 management who were the owners of the school. They have a staff or a committee, I think it's about 6, 7 people. The top 3 are black men. And in the reviews of K-12 management, they're spitting fire on these board members of K-12 management. Now, as being shady and not transparent. And it's so ironic that Umar finagled his name on a deed, and then we're not sure because we got to wait 30 days and people are waiting for some paperwork to come back, that he got his name on the deed to be able to conduct business there. For what purposes? Maybe he has to show GoFundMe or PayPal. I'm not sure and positive about it. This is speculation, but I'm just giving you the latest update. Okay? So you have a shady group called K-12 Management allowing Umar to get on the deed for some reason. There has to be a side deal going on that he promises to make some type of mass payment or payment to them. And if that doesn't happen, then he goes off the deed and K-12 management goes back on the deed. I'm not positive, but as a former realtor, this is all I can think of that's going on that's kind of fishy, because the property on the deed, it says it went for $10. And we know for a fact there was no sale or purchase. When someone says sell or purchase, that means someone got a loan. That means someone was approved for a loan, and a loan is in somebody's name, or the company or personal, and that person has payments now. A purchase in a loan didn't happen. A deed name addition or change did happen. So he uses the language, I acquired a school. And I have to conduct this business, this last business, and do this and do that. So he's doing paperwork business and finagling paperwork with K-12 management, who is known for being shady and non-transparent in all their reviews. This is some strange things going on. So, but if you have seen this 20-year history and timeline of his work history, you will get it and everything will be in context. That's it. Chief X, I'm out. Let me find out how to get the hell out of here.